Hey everybody, welcome to day 3 of our devotional series. Yesterday we talked about the idea of Jesus overcoming our troubles and fears. I wanted to make sure we took some time to point out today that we can take joy in this concept because Jesus himself experienced fear. He experienced stress and anguish. He was worried. See, not long after Jesus comforted his disciples in the passage we talked about yesterday, we see that he starts to pray in front of his disciples. And he prays 3 separate prayers in John chapter 17. The first one, he prays for himself. And he speaks to God the Father saying, Lord, I've come and I've taken care of all the ministry that you've laid before me. I have glorified you. And now, essentially, he says, I'm ready to be rejoined with you in heaven. But see, Jesus knows that it's not over. He knows that there's more to his ministry yet to be done. And so after praying that prayer along with the other 2, he leads his disciples out to this isolated garden. And Luke chapter 22 tells us that whenever he reaches that garden, he asks his disciples, hey, stay awake and pray for me. And then he separates himself a short distance. And as Jesus has separated himself, he begins to pray, but he is upset. He's grieved. In fact, the scripture tells us that he is grieved to the point that his body sweats great drops of blood. Jesus is stressed out, guys. He's worried about what's coming. And in fact, in this prayer that he's praying, he says, Father, if you are willing, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. See, Jesus is asking if there's any other way. If there's any other way to fulfill the will of God, Lord, let it be done. But Jesus knows there's not. He knows that this is what he has to do, and God the Father knows this is what has to be done. And so, throughout this whole process, Jesus is not running, he's not escaping, he's not trying to get away. No. He's praying for another option, but he has surrendered himself to the will of God if there is no other option. He's willing to go forward with that. Listen, as a follower of Christ, we are guaranteed struggles in this world. We're guaranteed stress. But we serve a God who is not distant from us. He knows stress. He's experienced it, probably to points that we never can. And yet, he overcame it. So today, as you walk through your day-to-day life, whether that's going to church, whether that is going to work, as stresses come at you, I hope you can be reminded that you serve a God, we follow a God that knows stress and has beaten it. We worship a God who is not so distant from us as to not understand what we're going through. He knows all too well, and he loves us through it. He loves us in it. Take some time today and read through John chapter 16, verses 25, all the way through John chapter 17, verse 5.